Hey everyone, Michelle Alexandria. What was that little jig or dance I was doing? I don't know. I feel like I need to do something with my hands. You see, this is what happens when YouTube forces people to be in front of the camera, when I want to be behind the camera and hide my beautiful face. But anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about Captain Marvel, which was recently released on 4K. HDR digital. I actually bought this on, what did I buy this on? I actually bought this on Vudu last week for $24.99. And let me just say, that is some straight up nonsense. Charging $24.99 for the 4K HDR version on Vudu when the physical media is only $29.99. If I wasn't me and I didn't have to have it right now, I would wait until next week. I would have waited until next week and just bought the physical media for $29.99, and that way I would have had the physical and the digital and would have had the best of both worlds. But that's not me. And of course, now that I paid the $24.99, then I'm like, but I want the physical disc. And I'm stupid enough to actually go in and try to buy the physical disc next week. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Maybe not. So anyway, so I bought it for $24.99 last week, and I finally watched it yesterday. When you buy it on Vudu, yes, it will transfer over. And I feel like you have to say this because there are a lot of shenanigans when you buy these digital copies, because sometimes you'll buy it on iTunes and it won't transfer over to Vudu. Sometimes you'll buy it on Vudu and it won't transfer over to iTunes. So I feel like I need to let you guys know whether or not it's going to transfer. And in this case, it actually does go into your Movies Anywhere locker. So it will transfer over to iTunes, but you only get the HD version of it because Disney, I want to say damn you Disney, but I'm trying to kiss up to Disney because I really, really desperately want to go to Galaxy's Edge Media Day in August. So you can take that part with a grain of salt. I can be bought, people. I can be bought. I can. But anyway, so I lost track of what I was thinking. I'm in a weird mood tonight, people. I'm in a weird mood. It's a few days before E3. What's not to be happy about? What's not to be happy about? So anyway, the 4K version on iTunes is in HD. Movies Anywhere is 4K HDR, and on Vudu it is 4K Dolby Vision with Dolby Atmos if your TV supports it, and luckily mine does. So let me talk a little bit about the movie. I am by no means a Marvel can do no wrong type of fangirl. There are Marvel movies I love, there are Marvel movies I hate. Captain Marvel I walked into with really no expectations other than the fact that, you had all this BS fate outrage over Brie Larson. I'm not even going to get into that. But I absolutely love Brie Larson in this. I thought she was great as Captain Marvel. She kind of had a thankless role in terms of she is actually told to be, to clamp down on her emotions throughout the first part of this movie. So to the people who are saying, well, she's so emotional, well, that's the character. And even within that context, I love the amount of snarkiness and the smirks and the kind of snide, dry humor that Brie brought to the role. Everyone loves to talk about her relationship with Captain Marvel, Carol's relationship with Nick Fury in the middle of the movie, but me, I loved her relationship, the relationship that she had with Jude Law's character. I thought that was a great relationship, a mentor-student relationship. I love the fact that she was trying to push his buttons in the beginning, and he was like, no emotions, don't show any emotions. And I love that give and take of that relationship. And you could tell they were friends, that she actually cared about him, that he actually cared about her a little bit. And especially when you know what happens at the end of the movie, all those beginning setup scenes were actually brilliantly done. I mean, I actually bought into that relationship a lot. And it carried throughout most of the movie, which is why when the twist happens towards the end, I was actually surprised by it because because when I watch a movie, I'm not one who's like always trying to look ahead and figure out where something's going. I like to watch things as it happens and as it unfolds. So a lot of the surprises at the end really did surprise me, and especially as an old school comic book fan. I mean, I collected comics for over 20-something blah 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 years, blah 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 years. So yeah, I really enjoyed that dynamic and that relationship that they had. And then when she comes to Earth and she meets Furry, that's even further makes her mentor kind of relationship. Well, I don't think Furry's really her mentor. They were just, but it becomes a buddy cop movie at that point. From a directorial standpoint, the problem with the first part of the movie is there are some sequences in the movie that are just really dark. When I saw this in the theater, I was like, God, this looks ugly. And I didn't know if that was because of the projection and the poor quality of the overall projection at the theater I was at, or if it was actually the movie itself. And I have to say, I'm sad to say, it's actually the movie itself. And I'm talking about mainly one sequence and one section of the movie, and that's the entire section of the movie where they attack the Skrulls on some planet. That entire sequence is really dark and a lot of grain in that sequence and a little fuzzy and hard to make things out. I know that's probably the intention of everything, but it just didn't look good. It didn't look like it was filmed or lit properly. And the cinematography just really sucked in that part. And then the opening after she was captured and she was on the Skrull ship, that entire maybe 10 or 15 minute section of the movie just didn't look all that great to me. But before that, I loved most of the stuff on the Kree planet. Like when they go from the interior shots of the Citadel or wherever they were, where they were training, to some of the cityscapes. The cityscapes look beautiful, and in 4K it looks sharp and clear and crispy. And just, I really love those sequences. It just really opens up the world when you see the entire planet of the aerial view of Hala in all those shots. That stuff looked amazing on 4K. The HDR didn't really do much for it. It didn't make it pop anymore, but it just looked great. It was crystal clear. It was beautiful. It was vibrant, but I don't think that was more of the HDR. I just thought it looked vibrant in general. Where the HDR really comes into play is in the middle, is whenever Carol uses her blasters, her arm blasters or any of that kind of stuff. It looks great. There's a lot of spectacular. I don't like to talk about technical highlights and all that kind of stuff, but that stuff looked brilliant. It was sharp and clear. It popped off the screen. And that's when you're like, yeah, that's HDR, buddy. That's HDR. And whenever there was explosions, that stuff looked great. The end sequence, the entire third act looked beautiful in HDR, especially when Carol finally got her suit, her red and gold suit. That stuff looks shiny and crisp and clean in 4K HDR, especially again, I'm watching the digital transfer. So it looks shiny and crisp and clean. And then the ships and stuff didn't really pop as much as I would have expected. The ships and stuff still kind of look dull a little bit, but so there's no shine or sheen or fit or finish to anything. But her suit looked great. That one kind of funny moment where she's in all neon, that was like, oh my God, that looks brilliant. I wish the rest of the movie is that colorful. So it's so when they get to, and as I said, when they get to Earth, that's when the colors get brighter, but duller at the same time. So it's kind of hard to explain. But as a movie, I just really loved it. I love Carol's journey from when she is the Kree soldier with no memory to watching her discover herself, discover her humanity, discover who she really is when she meets Nick Fury, and you see the buddy cop aspect of it. And then when she finally meets her former best friend Monica, that entire session was great. I love Ben Mendelsohn as the Skrull leader. He was funny, he was menacing, and then at the very end with the twist, you kind of felt for him as well. So I actually think this is probably one of Marvel's most well-rounded movies. I wouldn't put it in my top 5 Marvel films, but I would definitely put it my top 8 and I thought it was a really solid movie. I would actually give the movie a B. I would give the video quality probably a B as well. And in terms of extras are really the extra features are pretty middle of the road. It includes 10 minutes worth of deleted scenes, 15 minutes of featurettes, and a director commentary. So there's not much to write home with the extras. So I would kind of give the extras probably a C, C+. But the overall package, I would give a B, strictly because I really like the movie. The only thing I really hate is letterboxing, and this is letterbox, so you will get the black bars on your presentation, and I'm so sick of that. And especially after I just watched Batman 89, Tim Burton Batman 89, and that was in the beautiful full screen, widescreen presentation. To go back to letterboxing is, in this day and age, why are things still letterboxed? I mean, really, it's just, anyway. But Captain Marvel on 4K UHD is actually, I liked it. The digital stream is solid, crispy, and I can imagine I don't think the 4K physical disc would be much better. I mean, it is what it is in terms of how it looks and the overall color structure of the movie. So I don't think being on physical media is going to enhance it all that much, but I would still recommend you get the physical media because, again, the cost of the digital release is ridiculous. Paying $24.99 for a digital copy when you can get the regular version for $29.99 and have the physical plus the digital. That's the no-brainer decision. It's just a question of if you're an idiot like me and you can't wait 2 weeks to get it. And by the time this video comes out, you'll probably only have to wait a couple of